All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is August 13th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, everybody that subscribes. I don't take that for granted. I try to provide actionable, profitable content every single day. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go back and look at how I made 48K today on a 150K account. Hey, let me just say this. The markets are still bullish. All right, so here's the first one. I'm just going to pan this over just a little bit, kind of spread it out. And you don't need to see that anymore. Okay, so just move this over and move this over. So here's our 10-minute chart right here, and move this up a little bit. All right, so first one right here. Okay, you can see price action. I bought the dip. All right, so price ran up, hit the first resistance point, and then pulled back to gap fill. All right, and then right on top of gap fill. I never got filled. Other people did get filled, but I did not get filled on gap fill for today. See if I can show you. You can see each one of those candles, none of them spiked through it for me. All right, so that was a bullish clue that we're going to get bullish. You can see the 1, 2, 3 triple bottom there, and then we head back towards VWAP. All right, so now after we got up to VWAP, you can see price action trying to pass through VWAP. And there we go, breaking over the top of the rubber band candle into the close. All right, so there's price action for today. Again, I bought the dip and sold the highs of these candles. Okay, and that's how I made 30K on those. Keep in mind they were very cheap, so I was able to get a lot. You can see they were 8 cents. 8 cents a share. All right, some of them were 15 cents, 8 cents, 10 cents. You know, when they're like that, I can get a lot of shares, and all it's got to do is move a couple pennies for me to make $1,000. All right, so it's easier for me when they're cheap like that, and I just happen to pick that instrument because I saw price having a possibility of getting back to 645. All right, I had some 646 calls as well. You can see I sold off into the rally. There's the red dots, and then I started to accumulate. All right, on the dip back to, again, right back to gap fill. All right, and then I sold off into the rally coming back up towards VWAP up there. Okay, VWAP is the brown line. Next one, 5,700, 5,700. Those are 1 day till expiration. Again, I sold off into the rally. You can see all the red dots there. And then I reloaded, all right into this big dip, big sweeping 10-minute downtrend right into VWAP here. And then back up towards VWAP and through it, okay? So, and then I bought the dip and unloaded right back up into VWAP up here. You can see I still holding some with quite a bit of profit right there. Okay, so you can see here we got 650, 2 days till expiration, made $800 on those. Again, selling into the rally and then buying the dip back to VWAP and then selling the recovery rally right there at the end of the day. Same thing on these 647 calls. All right, you can see I made 310 on those. Again, buying the dip. I wanted some longer term stuff for tomorrow. So I got some 647 1 day till expiration. Again, I bought the dip down here. All right, in anticipation of price returning up towards VWAP. Okay, and you can see here's price heading back up towards VWAP, and I captured some profit on those. Okay, I've got some September, 23 days till expiration. Not too many of these because these are more expensive, okay? Remember, I like them when they're out of the money, you know, probably close to $3 to $15 out of the money, okay? So these were 23 days till expiration. So you can see how much they cost, $5.47 a share. Okay, I don't like to accumulate a whole lot of those because they tend to have a lot of theta decay that happens all at once. All it takes is SPY to move a couple dollars, and these things sometimes decay. The option here decays a whole dollar or $1.50. Okay, so I don't like that. So I don't have as many of those because they're not close to like 10 cents. My premium, my favorite, the sweet spot for me is anywhere between 35 cents and $1.50. That's the sweet spot for me for my option. Okay, I like that. I can defend that with a $100,000 account. So there's the price action for those right there. Again, I bought the dips. You can see I only bought one at a time. Well, there's two there, one there, one there, one there. You can see all I'm doing is just trying to sweep the bottom here down towards VWAP. And then I sold these three for more than what I paid for them and made a little profit right there. So I made 261, and I still have 363 left over. Got some more 655 calls, 9 days till expiration, 231 on those. Again, I sold off into the rally, and then I reloaded into the dip back towards VWAP. Okay, some 650 calls, 16 days till expiration, $222 on those. Sold into the rally and then reloaded on the dip, sweeping back towards gap fill right there. Sweeping back towards gap fill and then up towards VWAP. Okay, lost some on these puts right here. I tried to double down. Probably shouldn't have. They have 9 days. I probably could have waited for a bona fide downtrend. Tried to double down here and get out at 55, but they juked me around, and I wound up getting faked out, so I closed out over 400 of the 500 that I bought. You can see I bought 500, and I didn't want price to just continue going higher, all right, because I saw we were bullish, so I didn't want that, so I just went ahead and closed these out. I'll find the trend, and I'll get it, and I'll get out at break even or better probably, okay? So there's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ made 8,500 on these calls right here. See if I can pull them up. There we are. Okay, so there's 8,500. Again, I had some, and I sold into the morning rally up there and then reloaded into the dips and unloaded at the tops of the candles. Okay, 398 on these 583 1 day till expiration. Again, I wanted something a little bit longer term for tomorrow. I saw that the market is still bullish, so I started fanning out orders to pick off the bottom as price came down below gap fill right through here and sweeps up back up towards VWAP. Again, buying the lows of these little dips and selling the peaks of the little dips right there. Okay, 585, 2 days till expiration. Made $20 on those. You can see again, this is an afternoon purchase. I saw the market still bullish, so I started putting out bids for these a little bit longer term, a little bit outdated. So for tomorrow and for the end of the week. So you can see the purchases and then the sells up there over my cost basis. Made $20 on those. So that's it right there. That's how I made my money today. A lot of it was just jockeying around, watching for the pullback to gap fill and then seeing it bounce off of there and go back towards VWAP. That would be normal after gap fill for price to return back up towards VWAP or to the top of the opening range or to the bottom of the opening range. It all depends on which side we gap on. All right, let's go take a look at QQQ. Okay, QQQ into the close on the 10-minute is flat bearish consolidation. Okay, we gapped up, we moved over to the right. So we're looking at a bear flag. So looking at bearish consolidation on the 10-minute. Okay, not really an uptrend, not really a downtrend. Really just looking at a bear flag right there on the 10-minute. On the 2 hour for QQQ, we'll hit it on Where's game plan? Right here. Okay, so here's game plan on the 2 hour. All right, we still have a 2 hour uptrend. Okay, 2 hour uptrend, because you can see the yellow 3 EMA is up on top of the white 8 EMA right there. Okay, so you got the yellow 3, see, on the 2 hour. 3 is on top of the 8. So we still got an uptrend on the QQQ. On the daily chart, they put in a new all-time high. All right? I'm going to tell you, it doesn't get any better than that. Okay? Unless they close at the end of the day at the high of the day. Okay? On the weekly chart, they're still in an uptrend. See all the green dots? And they're still bullish. And the monthly uptrend and the monthly chart, they're still in an uptrend. Let's go visit SPY. See the green dots? See the candle closing at the all-time high. Okay, let's take a look at SPY. All right, monthly chart. You can see all the green dots. You can see price action up here at the all-time high. So monthly's in an uptrend. Weekly, wow, that's all. Oh, see that red candle? And then it disappeared. All right, so here's a green candle up here. Again, new all-time high. Weekly chart in an uptrend. Okay, nothing broken here, and bullish way up there. If I put the quad lines on there, you'll see up there at the top, so that's bullish way up there. Okay, top of quadrant 4. On the daily chart. Okay, on the daily chart, we have new all-time high. Okay, right there on SPY on the daily chart. Still in a daily uptrend. Okay, notice at the top of quadrant 4, and still in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. New all-time high. Obviously, it's got to be a higher high on that, so it's got to be an uptrend. So there's SPY on the daily chart, still in an uptrend. 2 hour chart. Okay, 2 hour chart on SPY. You can see the yellow 3 EMAs up over the 8 EMA right here. 2 hour uptrend coming into the close. 10-minute chart. Got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. I'd look for a continuation of this 10-minute uptrend coming in tomorrow. Okay, this is still very bullish right here on SPY. See the bounce there? They didn't even get the gap fill. The bears, I think they missed it by a couple pennies, and the bulls didn't let them close it out. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow on the daily chart. Okay, that's bullish up there. Okay, notice they're in a downtrend but not moving down. Okay, see this low? They made a lower low, so they got themselves into a downtrend. Okay, but you can see they're not moving down, they're moving up. All right, they're up at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. So there's Diamond Dow bullish and in a downtrend that's not working. Okay, if they happen to pop that top, in other words, they make a higher high, all right, they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Okay, this is the all-time high way back here. Okay, they're getting ever close to taking out that all-time high. So there's the daily chart. You can see we're up over the pink line. That's the all-time high. Anchored VWAP up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM has some continuation with that big candle breakout right there. There's a launch pad. So we're getting a launch on IWM. New rally high for IWM. Okay, all-time high right up here. We're up in here in quadrant 4 now. Okay, so this is a new rally high for IWM on the daily chart. Notice we're up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Another launch pad breaking out right here. Okay, so price action in an uptrend because we had a downtrend. Here's a low. They made a lower low, and then they came in and made a higher high. All right, yesterday, and now they made even higher highs. So they're bullish and in an uptrend. They're up there in quadrant 4. IWM. Okay, you want to know what a bullish behavior looks like? Okay, this is what you want to look for. Okay, when you get consolidation, this is kind of sloppy consolidation, but I can show you some really clean consolidation. Consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, You look at this price action right through here. You've got consolidation over prior consolidation. That is a bullish environment. That is a bullish behavior. That's a bullish characteristic. Okay, if you're willing to stick with it, you can see what you get. You get a completion of the launch pad and then a launch right there. Same thing here. If you're willing to stick with it, and it may take 2 months, you can see about the first week of May, almost to the end of June, before they finally got a launch. All right, even looked like they got a failed launch right there. Came back, found the all-time high anchored VWAP and J-hooked off of that. Okay, notice right here, up here, consolidated, had a failed breakdown right there, or the bulls came in and rescued it, and price went up back up there. So having a little breakout launch right now, IWM. All right, let's take a look at one more, FNGU. Okay, FNGU. Here's one with, again, consolidation over prior consolidation. You can see the price action here. Okay, see all of that price action. That's consolidation over consolidation right there. Okay. Okay, over consolidation. Okay. What you get is a launch pad that builds and then launches, and then you have more bullish behavior. Anytime you see price, okay, moving up and holding that higher ground, that's a bullish behavior. That's a bullish environment, okay? Anytime you see price move up and hold, that's a bullish environment. That's a bullish behavior. Normally what you get from that is another move up. You can see we go up, we hold, and then we have another move up. And then we move a hold, and then we have another move up. And then we hold, and now we're getting almost looking like a launch happening right here. So maybe another move up, all right? That's a bullish behavior. When you find a stock or a security that you want to trade or you want to own, you want it to perform like this. They don't all perform like this. This is a real beauty right here. Okay, this is FNGU. This happens to be 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and SPY. And when they move as a pack, all right, they tend to jerk the indexes wherever they go. So they're kind of like the leash, and the indexes are the dog, and they take the dog wherever they want to go. So that's FNGU. Take a look at technicals. All right. T2122. Remember, we got hooked by the bull, and we were airborne like the rodeo clown right into the buy zone, where we did little micro higher lows and higher highs, trying to recover from that airborne trip into the stands. All right, so now we got hooked again by the bull, and we find ourselves in the overbought zone now. See, we got hooked by the bull, and he threw us into the overbought zone. So we're way up there in the cheap seats now. All right, with that rodeo clown trying to find it back to the arena. All right, so overbought zone and consolidating up here at the highs. So that's big bullish move right there. Look how it's holding the higher ground. That's a big bullish move right there, holding that higher ground in the overbought zone. Now we could stay up here for a few days, or we could come tumbling down, but that is a really strong move up there for T2122. So I'll bet T2123, look at this. Bullish gap up. Bears could not fill this gap. You could put a train through that gap, all right? That's huge, all right? And, yeah, see all the green dots? Yeah, you bet that's in an uptrend. See the high? That's a higher high. Definitely a 15-minute uptrend. Up over this 200 SMA right there. Big gap up. Bears aren't even anywhere to be found. Filling this gap over here. See this bearish gap? The bulls fill that by gapping up through there. All right. And in green, just a buying program from the beginning of the day. Obviously right up until the last minute on T2123. And let's look at T2123 3 bar. All right, you can see price action We got a low, we got a higher low, and we got a higher low. We got a high, higher high, and higher high right now. So T2123 is in an uptrend. We're up over the 200 SMA. Look how we're consolidating at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, we're dealing with this consolidation. This is prior consolidation over here. All right, we're dealing with this low, this high, and this high. Okay, so if you see me and I put the crosshairs on that, all right, I'll put the crosshairs and you can see price action. See how it's dealing with, see those highs? This is the last time we had a high. This was the rally high. I'll put the crosshairs on it right now. And if you look on that horizontal line or that latitude over to the left, you can see those two highs with the green dash on top are what's giving price a fit right now. Okay, keep in mind, all right, this took 3 months, about 2 months to form. Okay, so you're not going to cut through it with one 4-hour candle. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of time to grind out through this. All right, and hence we are doing that. Okay, right now we're showing a bearish head and shoulders pattern, but let me just say, if price decapitates the head, they will negate the pattern. All right, right now you're showing a head up here and a right shoulder, but we had this nice bullish day today, so they may negate it. We'll see. And a left shoulder over here. So again, price is bullish and in an uptrend up here in quadrant 4. FNGU, let's see what we got here. Today looks like they gapped up. Bears filled the gap, but they just consolidated over to the right. Okay, looks like the bears own the day for FNGU. Obviously, for T2123, the bulls own the day. All right, so looks like we had 10 securities coming down in FNGU. All right, 10 of the most heavily weighted. And then we had 480 in the SPY, all moving up by the looks of this 15-minute uptrend right there. Okay, so I guess the 481 this time. Okay, so right there, big move up, T2123. All right, so here's FNGU. You can see kind of gapped up. Bears filled the gap in just the selling program from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Okay, but notice the bears could not push it below the 200 SMA right there. Okay, so you can back way out. You can see we're still holding that higher ground. Okay, think of that as planking. And you do that exercise, you move up and you plank for a whole month. You know that takes some strength to plank for a whole month. Okay, that's what's going on right there. FNGU up and holding the higher ground, planking. Okay, looking like a failed breakout right there, maybe a failed breakdown there, and now we're back up to the top. Maybe they're putting in the consolidation pattern now. We'll see what happens. All right, this is bullish. All right, even though we failed here, we couldn't dig out a lower low. Okay, we couldn't break the base, and we're back up here re-challenging that high. So that's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. Did we make a higher high? Not quite. Okay, we got close. Okay, let's take a look at a few sectors and then we'll call it a day. Robert said, where these 0 DTEs? Yeah, 0 days till expiration. Maybe I misunderstood you, Robert. You already, okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Cisco disappointed. That's going to pull the stocks down. All good. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Sharon. All right. So let's take a look at SMH. Okay. SMH, new all-time high. Dropped the mic. Doesn't get any better than that. XLK. New all-time high. Dropped the mic. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay. XLF. All right, higher low, higher high. We're in a downtrend because you see the low, we made a lower low. But get this, here's the deal. We're not moving down. So we're up here in quadrant 4. We're in a downtrend that's not working. and we're bullish because we're up here in quadrant 4, and we're consolidating over prior consolidation. Again, you get consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. That's a bullish outlook. Really sloppy, but they're getting it done. Financials, right there. Price action is bullish in a downtrend that's not working. All right, that's XLF. Let's take a look at IYT. All right, IYT up in quadrant 4. That's bullish, and they're in an uptrend. See the high? They made a higher high. So uptrend for IYT up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend like that. Okay, IYT. That's a transports. All right, that's it for me for today. All right, I'm telling you, I think we're headed off to 650. We'll see. I mean, look how close we got on SPY. And I've been talking about 650. And you guys in the room here know how long I've been talking about 650. 646.28. Wonder what the pre-market says. Let's try if I can find the pre-market one. Things got messed up this morning. Okay, on the pre-market, we got as high as 646.29 on SPY. 646.29, yep. All right, I've been talking about 650 for a long time. Here we are. Okay, and I said on our journey up there, what do I like? 10-minute uptrends inside 2-hour uptrends. So 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, inside 2-hour uptrends, inside daily uptrends, inside weekly uptrends, inside monthly uptrends. Okay, that's my favorite trade. Okay, you don't always get that. You guys are in the rare opportunity to recognize you're in it with somebody chanting this and drilling it every day, because you don't. This will not be here in probably 6 months. It won't be here anymore. Okay, you won't. There'll be one of these will be in a downtrend, granted, or will be in some type of consolidation. All right, so this is a rare opportunity right now. I'm just telling you. So take advantage of those 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. Mel says we either hit 650 by Friday, but I think we sell off next week. Don't the market makers generally not want to pay out the highest open interest on Friday and will pull the market back down? It's possible. I think the market makers have a lot of inventory for some 655 calls or some 650 calls, so they're going to want to push it up to 657. That's what I think. Stock chart gurus, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. You know, stick with the trend. Okay, all right, stay with the trend. 2-hour uptrend, stick with it till it ends. All right, trade that uptrend till it ends. And you'll know when it ends because the dots will turn red. Okay, on the 2-hour. Okay, see on the 2-hour. Okay, you got that green. Okay, we've been green since the 5th of August. Okay, just stay with the trend. All right, when it turns red, then if you want to bail, go ahead and bail. Right there, but that's bullish. Keep in mind, you're in a weekly uptrend and a monthly uptrend and a daily uptrend, all too. So keep an eye on that 2-hour right there. 17 EMA, yes. Okay, you might think we're overbought. I mean, Mel asked a great question, okay? Does it not concern me that we are quite severely overbought, okay? We're in for another round of inflation. Tomorrow, jobless claims and core PPI. We're in for another round of inflation, okay? Trump, not just Trump, okay? Because we can't pick on him all the time, okay? But the government needs to refinance a big load of debt, okay, so that they can pay their bills, all right? And in order to refinance it, they need to get rates down, okay? And you know what happens when rates go down. We may pull back tomorrow, all right? But keep in mind, keep your eye on the big picture, okay? You can see, you hear it on social media, the president is gunning and talking about rates should have been lower a long time ago, okay? He wants those rates down so he can refinance that debt at a lower rate, okay? He's still gonna he's still gonna have to raise taxes, okay? Still gonna have to raise taxes. Still gonna have to do tariffs. Still gonna have to cut rates, and he's gonna have to do one other thing too. All right, in order to get this thing balanced, so that he can have everything that he wants as well. All right. Oil. Well, is it a good sign? At what point? And Mel says it's not a good sign that oil is dropping. Okay. I hear you, but at what point do the EV cars finally make an impact on the oil demand? You know what I'm saying? You got electric cars. At a certain threshold, it's going to cross that threshold, and we're no longer going to, we're going to have like equal. In other words, we're going to have less, we're going to be at a point where we're no longer in big demand for petroleum. Okay, so I don't know when that point is, but I know they're selling more electric vehicles every year since we've started selling electric vehicles. So if they're selling more each year, think about this, there's more electric vehicles on the road today than there was yesterday. All right, and at a certain point, it's going to alleviate a lot of that oil demand. And then hence you're going to see oil and gas come down. Well, gas is already coming down, natural gas, and you got oil is already dipping a little bit. It might be 10 years before oil picks up demand again, okay? Remember, nobody wanted a refinery in their backyard, okay? Well, you know, and that's what caused a lot of it. Well, now that there's less demand for oil, there's less demand for a new refinery. Like sweet crude is going to drop to $55 a barrel. It may. I don't know. I don't read it. I just follow the charts. I don't speculate. Okay? I just follow the charts. I look at what performance has done in the past, and I look for patterns to repeat themselves. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. If we go into a recession, I would say yes. But, you know, we're think about it, Mel. You're putting more electric vehicles on the road today than you did yesterday. And every time you put more electric vehicles on the road, you got less need for, I'm going to call them gasoline, petroleum pumps. All right, now we got a demand for EV charging stations. I don't know what it's going to do. Just follow the chart. It's in a downtrend, right? It's in a downtrend till it's not. And it may turn into a bear flag and consolidate down there before dropping even lower than that. I know. But we're gonna follow the chart because that's what we're trained to do. All right, and then you already know Trump's got to refinance the debt, so eventually he's got to get rates down. And if you bring down rates, what happens? It makes everything cheaper, and what happens is you get inflation. All right, as soon as you get inflation, all right, that means Everybody that's selling goods and services is getting more money for their goods and services. Hence, okay, they deserve a higher price per share. And hence, what do you get? Growth in the market. And then what do? We make higher highs in the indexes. Right? I gotcha. I'm not flat. I'm still bullish. All right? And we may pull back tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. All right, that's it for me for today. All right? I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll do it again. All right? Thanks, everyone. Everybody have a wonderful evening.